What's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Again, thank you for being here. Listen, right now I'm sharing, right? So if you wonder what I'm doing, um, I want you to know that if you're in Georgia or North Carolina, there may be other states, but those are the ones I know. It is early voting time. So something I need you to do. So one, not register because it's too late. More than likely, most states I don't think they allow you the day. Some states the day of. I don't know. Check your local check your local regulations. Good morning, Mama Corey. Good morning, Richard. Um, but what I need you to do is go to your local election online, local electoral commission. Just Google it; it'll come up, and find out what's on the ballot. Know what's on the ballot before you get in the booth. Know what's on the ballot before you get in the booth. Um, Not only to know the candidates that you're probably not thinking about, but to also know the initiatives that may be on the ballot as well. Get educated about the total meaning of what's on the ballot, because a lot of times it may look good like reading it, but then you don't understand the full scope of what this law passing means, if that makes sense. So get a sample ballot. Every state has one, every county has, especially with the invention of the internet. Now you don't have to go anywhere and try to ask and figure it out, but you can find out what's on the ballots before you go to the polls. Because some places have stronger initiatives. You see commercials about them, like, yo, vote no on Prop 225. If you want to save your family and children, vote no to Prop 2251, So, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to save my family and children. So I vote no, but you don't know what you're voting no for. You don't know what you're stopping. You don't know what protection you're getting rid of. You don't know what you're doing. You can't go by the ads. Allow the ads to bring to light what's on the ballot, and then do your own research about these propositions. Read the whole thing so you know what you're signing up for, because what you're voting no for, it'd be the same thing that you've been complaining about for the last couple of years. But they like to, muddle the water a little bit. Know an ad, they can say anything. What's on the ballot is on the ballot. That's the truth. So read, read it, read it, read it, read it, read it. Become educated. Become an educated voter. So yes. All right. Hold on. So today we're talking about what up, Jeff? Good morning. Hey, Deborah. Good morning. Um, about in your head. Oh, and are you stuck in your head? So, and this conversation comes from a lot of different spaces. I mean, last night we had a good conversation with my brother, Mr. Dwayne Goodson. I know it's been a while since you guys seen him, so he has, just like everybody, has had some stuff going through, and it was a good conversation. So before I get started, I got to do you're watching the Brother Legacy. This is how I separate my podcast, because that's where I start the podcast. Be sure to share. Be sure to let everybody know that the Brothers of Legacy are on. We are approaching my favorite time of the year. I love like the Thanksgiving, Christmas holiday. I don't know. It does something to me. It doesn't matter whatever state of my life. Everything is better for this period. It gets good. He said, "How's it going?" He's good, man. He's good. So he's good. He's good. He may pop in the comments because he said he's been watching. He just say comment. But yeah, we just it's all about staying connected. Though. It's all about staying connected. And if y'all don't really know, like the Brothers Legacy, yes, in essence, it did start here, like online as a platform to have conversation. But the true nature of the Brothers of Legacy, are about coming together to support each other in all aspects of life. Um, to not feel alone, to not feel like you're not part of something greater. Where if you're going through, you have someone you can call or connect to, someone to hold you accountable, which is the toughest part, because we all go through things, but it's being accountable for your part in the things that you're going through. And this is kind of like a lot of the reasoning of coming up um, with this topic. And if you wonder what I'm doing right now, one of my other brothers didn't want to come through, so I'm trying to send and talk at the same time. But Dwayne Gus, love you, bro. That's good. Thank you, Rich. Thank you for putting that up. So, like again, talked about voting. Make sure you know what's on the ballot, and of course, we all got an opinions and who we like, who we don't like. I try not to stay in that space. I do, because I know what I feel, but doesn't mean that it's right. Being honest, like we see things and we have opinions, doesn't make it the fact. It's not a fact. Just keeping it 100. So do your due diligence. Know what's on the ballot. Know who's on the ballot. Lisa, I didn't think you was here today. I feel like I was missing you. I was missing you. So know who's on the ballot. Know what initiatives are on the ballot. Know what you are speaking up for, because I'm telling you, got to know what you're voting for. Because every time, several elections, cycles that go in there, and I know the top people. I'm like, boom, made my mind up. Judge, I don't know that judge's name. This judge, that judge. I think I like that judge's name. Like, I knew a guy by the name of John Terry. So he's gonna get the job, because I know, like, don't act like y'all didn't see names. Ooh, councilman. I know a Brian. I'm gonna pick him. God forbid they have the same. Oh, Anthony Walker. Oh, he must be the truth. Like, so, I'm being honest. Like, so know what's on the ballot. Granted, there's a level of research that you can do when it comes to the ballot. But if they're new to politics, it's hard to know their history. Especially, they probably was a business owner, but unless they are like, multi-millionaire, doing, you're not going to really know. Because even, average Joe, you're not going to know unless they committed a heinous crime. I mean, you could probably look up maybe felonies, but it's the research is much more difficult when they are going from private citizen to politics. If they've been in politics, yeah, you can probably look up their record, look at what they've done. But if they're their first time in, you can only like listen to them, look at them, be like, they don't seem janky, they seem legit. And can we keep it real? I'm gonna bring Pastor on in a second, because I probably need him in this conversation. You kind of judge based on past interactions, right? And sometimes let me bring him in. I'm bringing him in. I'm gonna break out of my regimen real quick. But you ever like see somebody and you like, they remind me of such and such, like if they're speaking or talking, which is why I feel like even Barack Obama, he has that, and I'm pretty sure purposely, he almost had that Martin Luther King cadence when he speaks. Can we because it trigger, like we're trying to trigger. Ooh, he got a dream too. Like I'm being honest, like and which is why sometimes even preachers get to kind of have had the same kind of cadence to kind of, it reaches. It's what we know, we hear, what we accept as part of, okay, you real when you sound like, you know. So I get it, because it took me a while. I'm listening to like Barack Obama, like, you trying to have that Martin Luther King cadence. I get it, because you want us to feel like, yeah, you know. So we when I look at people, I judge based on past interaction, things you say, you know. Like now, if you if you start and you're speaking and you talk old school preacherish where you're rhyming, you know, we don't have to climb, we just gotta be on time, you know, like, oh right. Because the first thing you're like, oh Lord, you know, like this dude is solid, but that right there, like, oh, I don't know.
Those catchphrases get you every time.
Right. Oh man. The number that nobody got. So that's you know, and so like I said, do the research as much as you can. Like I said, if they're first time in politics, especially at the local level, it's challenging to know what they're gonna do. You can kind of look, you know, which I know for me, like I judge photos, I judge how the family's standing. If everyone's just like this, I'm like, yeah, they don't like each other. You know, so watching a wife and husband stand together, like, yeah, they struggling. But you don't know if it's just like big struggle or just like today.
Or today was just a bad day.
Right. Your wife just had enough. I've had these too many pictures. I've had enough. You know, I've had enough today. You know, so it's hard. It's hard when they first start out. So like I said, just pray about it. Like, Lord, which one? Try to give me the unction, something. You know. But yeah, it's just know what's on the ballot though. If you go to your local website, electoral commission, I think it's called election commission, and you'll know what's on the ballot. Like I did mine yesterday just to kind of see what's up there. It's pretty interesting. So at least some things are kind of obvious, but remember, it's just a synopsis. You know, look into it a little bit. You know, look at what it may cost. You know, for that. Some things may seem obvious, but like I spoke about yesterday on the ballot, it was saying, should your official lose their pay if they are, I think, indicted for a felony or something of that nature?
I like what I think you asked that question yesterday.
And Jeff said I would.
He said, listen, you commit a felony,
right,
and you're convicted, you lose your pay and you go to jail.
Right.
Pretty normal, pretty straightforward.
Right. But okay, so let's say this. I know this. So, but what if, right?
And good morning, BOL family. Forgive me for not saying that.
There you go. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
What if, like, I've done my job, right? Like, pretty much it seemed like every political job, at least probably like mayor on up, there's there may be like a pension, right? Like, boom, when you finish your term, finish your time, or you do your time, you get a pension. And
mayors get pensions?
Huh? I think so. Yeah, I think they get pensions. I know. I'm about 100% sure the president gets. It's called like a pension.
Right.
It's
I know
like
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Congress one term they good for life. House good for life. Amazing jobs, but so made me want to just run for that reason. But you know, but what if something happens, you know, and you lose your job, like I'm trying to think of like what's a low level felony. What's like a drug charge or something. You know, it's like
low level
felony. Like, you know, like, no, I'm saying because there's those things that you just like, I'm never gonna fool with that person with that kind of felony. You know, like, but there's you know, you got caught with crack. You know, like, me and you would still be cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, it's like, yeah, man,
you had an addiction problem.
Right. Or even it wasn't you, it was your passenger was the crackhead. You know, like, you know, because
guilty by association.
You're still liable for the possession, but you don't smoke crack. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, that's what I'm saying by low level. Like, it's still your fault, but you know,
with it in my possession or smoking it, or that's not a crime against a person. That's a violation against me.
Right.
I didn't hurt anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I mean, I guess should they? Someone look, is it indicting or just going to court, or how it works? low level against the
Yeah,
law,
like
right?
low level felony. It looks like
It's kind
the
of
minute you say felony, it lets you know that's that's a little higher.
I'm just saying, like I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. All right. Let me hold on. Did I send it? That was doing it. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right, we're gonna be right back. I'm trying to sing it so my other intro so daggone quick. All right. Boom, boom, and so make sure you're sharing, guys. Take your car. Take your car, but I watched it. He said, once a dealer tried to sell me some drugs. I said, no, thanks. I'm naturally high on God. I hear you. I don't know. You ever remember the Just Say No campaign? I've never been pressured to do drugs. Like they would, hey, you want that? I'm like, nah, I'm good. It's like the end of the conversation. Like I've never been.
Yeah, I was never pressured either. I was like, okay.
Right. It's because they always been, listen, you watch the commercial like, you want to do this. It's like, ain't nobody put the drugs on you like that. And they might be like, you want some? All right. Like more for me. Like I was trying to be nice. Oh, yeah. So, all right. So let's get into this combo. He said, nah. He said, nah. I'm just saying no. Just say no. All right, let's go. Oh.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Right on cue, Mr. Reparations. Right on cue.
That's just how I planned it.
How you doing, E?
Feeling good. Y'all doing all right?
Yeah,
wonderful.
Doing good. It's funny. I was watching TikTok is such an amazing place. It's like the more you learn about other people's lives. Someone was they're like a producer of one of the segments on Sports Center, and they were walking you through. You know how they show the clip, and just them like, okay, clip 1, all right, clip 2, all right, swipe over. Like you see the constant motion, and you don't realize like they're like a conductor. Like, all right, he goes, all right, hold for that. All right,
you mean the production, the production
part of
media.
it. Yeah, it's like the behind the scenes and just watching them do that. So
freeze camera 1, turn up on camera 2.
Right.
Zoom in.
Right. Close up. All right. Stay right there. All right. Next video, swipe over. Because like they usually buy the big screen and things are happening, Oh, so yeah.
And you wonder how much talking there is in the ear.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You have to perfect being able to talk, to verbalize, to communicate while someone is talking in your ear.
Oh man, yeah,
and you have the monitor,
right? Oh, and the read, right? And the
that's where I would struggle, right there.
Oh, whoa, wait, you going too fast? Slow that back, going back up for me, real
quick.
Now, see, that's something I'd be pretty good at.
Oh, reading the teleprompter.
The teleprompter. Yeah, that I'd be
even with the updates, even with the late breaking news,
bro. I would be president.
I can't do it, man. And then they get one of them international players with a hard name that just got traded somewhere. No,
oh man,
I'm straight.
What's that? What was that dude's name?
But see, that's where they're in your ear.
Yeah,
they're giving you the pronunciation in your ear.
Right,
okay,
right. Because they know me. They're gonna know you. Like they know you about to struggle with this name.
All right.
Like They'll
be like, sounds like Kazakhstan. Sounds like Kazakhstan. John Kazakhstanza. Okay.
But it's funny when you have those moments like that and they say it wrong. It's like nobody in that studio knows how to say that name. Because they said it to him probably several times.
Oh, you believe me? Every news station has a linguistics expert.
Right, somewhere. You're right.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right. So good morning, everybody.
Morning, Rich.
Morning,
So,
morning. Hey, Sam.
What up, Sam?
hey, Sam. All right.
Yeah.
So we always stuck in our heads, right? So I asked this question um because a lot of times we have most of our conversations to ourselves than we probably have with anybody else,
Yep.
which, generally is okay, but how long do you have it in your head to try to figure things out as opposed to expressing it outwardly? Um,
Mm.
I, it's funny because we had, like I said, we had some conversation yesterday, and the in your head conversations can get sticky because you can literally talk yourself out of doing things.
And
You
then
know, even connecting, because I've been there for a large part of my life. Like, I don't want to bother them with that. Eh, I don't want to hear, and then I don't want to hear what they got to say. Like, I don't know what their response is. This is dumb, especially if something you do that it's like, I don't want to hear that I messed up. I don't want to hear, that I did this thing wrong. Like, I know I'm wrong. So you have your own head conversations. Um, and for me, like, I've always, with Brother Legacy, the staying connected, I push it hard because I was the one that's always falling away. I've disconnected from several groups, from several people, when things got hard, you know, and never went back. Like, never went back, never had the conversation. Just, what is that term? Water under the bridge. I guess this is like, I'm gone. It is what it is, Um, but now realizing how many vital connections I would have had I just, I wouldn't say fought it out, but, well, fought my own thoughts out to reconnect. Because, most folks are like us, right? You just got to stay connected, man. Call me, Um, so with you guys, like, how do do you have those head conversations where you talk more to yourself than you need to be, like, I need to be talking to somebody about this, need to at least bounce this off of somebody, like, I had my moments, am I crazy? Or, and you're like, yeah, you crazy.
Well, I know I'm crazy, so let's push that aside.
Right.
that's been
That,
established.
that's been validated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But do you have those conversations in your head, and how do you push past it? How do you push past those head talk conversations? Because we would stay disconnected if we don't.
Well, I mean, it's for me. It's always that's where it starts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Charity starts at home, and conversation start at home in my head.
Right.
So it it's harder to see because
Okay.
I'm my first counsel. So it's harder to see that talking to you is not a good thing anymore. Or no, well, no, it's always a good thing, but talking to you it can't stay here anymore. That's
Right.
harder to call because how they say it's easier to see across the street than it is right next to you. Like, it's kind of hard for me to say, like, I can't handle this. I feel it.
Right.
You lose weight, you lose sleep, but you just kind of count that in as part of the process. So it's kind of hard um, to realize on day one when it's time to take it to another person or another level of
Mm.
conversation. It's usually when you've crashed and burned,
Right.
and laying on the street, don't know how you got there, and then, like, what, maybe I do need to talk to somebody. It has to always be some extreme, not always. In my case, it's been always been an extreme
Extreme.
that's
Right.
brought me to a place that said I need to go take this somewhere else. And I do seek a lot of counsel. I seek a lot of advice. I'm a big fan of mentors, hashing out ideas,
Right.
but there are all of that is to a certain degree. There's things I just don't release. There's things I just don't reveal that I
Right.
talk through to myself. So I play both sides of the fence on that. I make a practice of reaching out, but I keep so much in.
Right.
But for me, it's always been an extreme moment,
Right.
circumstance that made me realize, all right, let's elevate this on up.
But wouldn't you say you know how like okay, boom, you know how like I used to have this exercise machine, little rowing thing, right? And over time, things like that, screws get loose,
Mm.
you know, and there's regularly checking up the maintenance and making sure the screws loose because what happened, I let it go so long, screw popped out, screw got lost.
Yeah.
I had to throw the thing away because now it's like I can't even half do it because it's just not gonna work.
Yep.
And I think that's us. Like
Yep.
we gotta have that regular maintenance, you know, that check in with each other, you know. And I get sometimes we've gotten to the point, you know, especially as adults, if we've not done it on a consistent basis, that you know we only really talk about certain things when they become an emergency.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
or
the
when they
squeaky
get
wheel gets the
bad.
oil, gets the grease.
Yeah.
Because a
Oh,
big part of it is I don't want to come to you empty-handed. Like,
Right.
I'm here. I need you to, I know I'm messed up. So work on something. It feels like, what am I going to you for? Same thing, even on the positive end with like, with business or something, right? AD, I want to do something, man. What do you want to do?
right.
Something, something. I want to, I haven't worked the idea out. I haven't thought it through, but I'm here because I know I want to do something.
Right.
All right, E man, get back to me when you figured out something, right? That's
Right.
even the people we approach kind of give us that same thing. So we kind of take that. I've taken that even to like the more personal side,
Right.
and it's like I know something going on, but I can't even verbalize this right now. What am I going to talk to McCory about? What am I going to talk to AD about? Like it's like I can't figure it out. You know what I mean? So how can they help me on something I can't even word myself? But
Yeah.
I do think what you're saying is absolutely right. It's like you feel that it might be time to talk to somebody about something,
Right.
but like it's a sensitive thing. And to take it to AD and then he eats me up for not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, that ain't really what I mean. What I'm trying to say, no, I'm going by your words. I'm taking on what you say. Like, and then it's further confusion, and I could leave. Definitely, I'll leave without the help I need. But I also can leave feeling like I'm tripping. Well, maybe I didn't need it as bad as I thought. So let me just go back into my head, back into my
Right.
corner.
Right.
So it's you talking about some areas where we're realizing need now, but it's still like a lot of how you say that, uncharted waters. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So eh,
I got you. Pastor, how do you feel about that?
For me, it's all the above, right? It is because it's based on the scenario. There are certain things that you spend more time on in your head
mhm.
because of a lack of confidence. The other response that you didn't think about is you could get it in your head that because you didn't get the response you needed from AD, that you don't want to come back to him again.
Right. Right.
And AD
Right.
did nothing wrong. You just didn't give him enough information, but for
Right.
whatever reason, you felt like AD failed you.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
He
So
don't
it
even
won't
know
be
it.
him the next time I have a thought. And
Right.
Right.
Last one I talked to.
He blew that. Yeah.
Because sometimes we're saying, I want to do something, and you're saying, well, what do you want to do? And you're actually saying, I need you to tell me what I want to do.
Mm,
Right. That's just the truth. I want to do something, but I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Help me figure me out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I think
But go ahead.
yeah, I mean that's good. But even if you have I see I got Kaneem hanging in the wings. I'm trying to see if he's ready. Okay. Let me get him in. Good morning, sir.
He stay ready, man. This guy was born ready. He on mute, but he was born ready still.
You're born ready, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, that's right. Born
There it
ready.
is.
How y'all feeling? Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
Oh,
What's going
well,
on, man? Yeah.
I think sometimes even when there's pieces of thought, we have to be willing to sometimes like I don't, because you feel when things are coming or things are shifting or things are changing, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's an initial conversation that just, man, I don't know what's going on. I feel something different, is shifting in me, and just be open to have that conversation. Because I've, even for myself, like I've allowed things to get into a space that I should have talked about way back.
Yeah.
You
Anybody's
know.
stuff.
So yeah, it's definitely like when you feel like certain pieces are just like you see a crack, like, is that a crack? You know, like you ever see something like, nah, that ain't a crack. We good. It's, you know, and we kind of ignore it until it becomes something, you know.
I've learned to take my thoughts. If I have a thought that I think is valuable to me,
Right.
or will be at some point, but I'm not sure how to frame it, you know, I can't really talk about it. I turn on my voice recorder
Okay.
and I record the thought.
Okay.
That's good.
Or my wife will write it down. I learned from my wife to write the thought down on a piece of paper. If I have my phone next to me, I'll turn on the voice recorder and record the thought and then play it back and see if it makes sense. Right? Because I've learned that in a lot of cases, you can hear yourself talking, but you don't know how you sound.
Right.
That's,
Right.
that's real talk.
Is to figure out how you sound. So say it to yourself out loud, hear yourself saying it, and figure out if it makes sense to you.
Right.
And then you can clean it up and prepare it for public consumption.
Right.
Right. I think a lot of times, you know, people, he speak whatever's on his mind. Well, sometimes that could be very dangerous.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's what I've learned to do. I've got, man, I don't know how many recordings I have on here, and some of them are really, really goofy, and I keep them to laugh at myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's see. Richard says, "Does pure wisdom and managed emotion only come with age?"
No.
Nah.
I know some old fools, bro.
And I know some young wise people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know some old knuckleheads.
Yeah, for real.
Older than us. It's like you just like you still a
Yeah.
knucklehead. Like how old
The
are you?
assumption is that the older you get, that you should be learning along the way.
Yeah,
But
100%.
age is no guarantee of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Life experiences, I would think, is still no guarantee. You would think it would, but I've seen people, it's not that they haven't been through nothing. You know what I mean? But you know, are you learning? Did you learn from that? You know what I mean? Kadeem talked about that a couple weeks ago. Like, you know, he learns from his mistakes, so he knows he's making mistakes, but he's learning from them.
Right.
You know, how often is he making the same one? You know what I'm saying? So like, age ain't no guarantee. You would think somebody been around, seen things, seen people, seen how things go, that by now they'd be sick and tired of certain results. And same here too, right? I done some stuff that's like, you know, talking in my own head, like, why again though? Like, you did it the exact same way and you thought something was gonna be different.
Right.
Well, I mean, the question is, you think about it. You ask yourself, you ask the question, are we stuck in our heads with certain things? You talk about, you know, conflict resolution. Do I need to go back and say something to this person? Or, you know, do I need to release this information? You know, you have to count up the cost.
Right.
You know, who benefits from this?
Yeah.
You know, there are certain things that the scripture tells us that there are certain things in your walk with the Lord that are edifying to you, but not to others.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's certain practices, your prayer life. You know, there's a certain prayer that I pray that's between me and God alone.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's other prayers that I pray that are more public friendly.
Right.
And it means something to someone else. And so you have to ask yourself who benefits from what you have going on upstairs, because certain things you want to keep to yourself, and you build and you grow and you evolve and all of that.
Right.
And we talk about people that are older, that you would have an expectation that there's wisdom,
Right.
but there's just been a lack of desire to apply what they've learned. You know,
Apply.
the application of knowledge begets wisdom. You know, and if you live your life never practicing anything, then you can grow up and still sound really ignorant at an old age. And there's the contrast to that is young people who learn very early to apply. Life application
Right.
becomes their course of life, and so they gain in wisdom in the early ages. That's why you can see an 8-year-old speaking before thousands of people. You know, a 16-year-old that's a global icon. You know, that's because of the application of knowledge that they've been able to help themselves grow and to benefit others at an early life. And so I think you have to do that evaluation is, you know, who's benefiting from what I have going on in my head? Is it just for me or is it for others? And then you take the steps to make sure that you present that.
Yeah, definitely. What's up, Kaneem? Appreciate you being here, man.
Oh, how you doing, my brother?
Good. All is well.
Good to see you, bro.
Yes.
Always good to see y'all.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so that's the question. Like, do you guys struggle to share the cracks in your life with others? Like, not the stuff that about, you know, a day from spilling out into the public. You know, like, oh, this is about to be a public fight. I just need y'all to know that, you know, but that stuff that's small, you know, that you notice that you just might need a little adjustment, you know, just need that screw pushed in just a little bit, just need a little tweak. I just want to bounce some stuff off of you guys.
I learned a lesson many years ago. I was in Los Angeles and was arranging this marching into the millennium exercise. We were going to put 5,000 men on one end of Los Angeles, of Crenshaw.
Okay.
And we were going to march from one end of Crenshaw to the other. 5,000 men, called it Marching into the Millennium, right? And we had a couple of radio spots, and I was on the radio early one morning, and the executive director of Fame Renaissance was hosting this radio show, and he had me on at like 5:30 in the morning, and I got on and I started talking about, you know, men coming from behind the curtain. You know, it was a message to Black men: get from behind the curtain. You know, we know you're working every day. We know you're taking care of your family, but your community needs to know you're there.
Right.
That was the impetus, right? So we're going to march into the millennium, and we're going to come from behind the curtain. Strong men come from behind the curtain. Let your community know you're there, right? And for those of you who don't feel as strong, those of you that are coming back to your community, those of you that are turning things around in your life, you know, come on back. You know, and I started talking, and I gave the analogy of the prodigal son. And when I got through talking, it sounded good to me in my head. And he turns and says, "That sounds like a confession."
Right.
And it never dawned on me that I was feeling like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the way it was, I never practiced presenting it.
Right.
And when it came out like I was really talking about me.
Right. Right.
You know, and I played it off. I'm like, well, isn't there a little bit of the prodigal son in all of us?
Right. Right.
Like, yeah, that's true. He said, I definitely understand that. And then he apologized. I didn't mean to, because he was like, he felt like he had hit a nerve.
Right.
And for me, I was like, ooh, maybe I really need to examine that a little deeper with me. I should have kept that in my head a little longer. Right. Yeah. So there are times that you feel like as positive and as productive as you think it sounds, you got to make sure it's going to come out right.
Right. That's good. That's good. Definitely. What about you guys? You guys feel like you can share the cracks, or you gotta go through a little bit more crumble before you share?
Yeah, man.
I missed all the context from the first 45 minutes. So
I mean,
I couldn't even tell you, man.
I mean, in essence, it's pretty simple. Like, you know, we have our head conversations before we talk to other people. We have our head conversations before we share with other folks. You know, so my question today is like, do you, like Ephraim was saying, you know, you're lying dead in the street before you ask for help. You know, do you reach out when you have the cracks in your life? You know, like just small things, not like huge, you know, man, I got to share this with you guys. This was going on in the house. You know, we're about a month away from divorce. You know, like it's going downhill. It's already, the ball is rolling. You know, it's going to take, Jesus got to get in front of this thing for it to stop, you know.
Yeah.
Or do you share the small cracks that things are happening or this is going on?
Oh, no. No, I don't share. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, listen.
I don't. Well, I don't share the small stuff, but I mean, I think that's kind of like most of us. Well, I can't speak for everybody.
No, I get it.
But
that's why we have this conversation, because we do a lot of stuff in our head.
I mean, you just for instance, Ephraim is not telling me when him and Tan have a discussion that's not healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a crack. You know what I'm saying? Well, why is he gonna share that with me?
Well, no. So hold on. So what I mean by crack is more of a pattern. Like, So
that may be a pattern. That may be a pattern that they got.
I know, but it may be a pattern that you're not
context.
comfortable with. We've never been down. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because let's talk about your life, right? You ever felt like, especially when it got real bad, there were things that were happening before it got bad. You understand what I'm saying?
Signs.
There's just like, there's the signs that like you just like, oh man, things feel off. You know, things ain't. I don't know what's going on. I might just, like when in your car, right? You're driving, every couple thousand miles, you need an alignment. You just need just a little shift. It's like, I don't need new tires. I don't need, major work. I just need a shift. And I think a lot of times in our lives, we need an alignment we have these conversations like, hey, things seem a little off. You start bouncing like, yeah, I feel you. Why don't you try this? Because, we get into our monotony of life doing the same things over and over.
I don't know, man. I mean, it depends on the situation and who I'm talking to and who I'm comfortable with and this, that, and third. Because I'm trying to reflect back. Like, ain't nobody sharing no cracks with me.
Yeah.
No, I know.
I know. And by the time, like,
BOL, that's where we go. New spaces.
But like, even what he's saying, like, by the time he does hear about something with me and Tan, it's past tense. Bro, let me tell you what she did last week.
Yeah.
You feel me? But I was thinking about it even more so, like, it's really because we don't have a lot of maybe kind of like Matt Jeans was saying, like, certain, it's not conditioned. Like, I don't have certain. Okay, so this, even with the group, we can talk to one another and be accountable. I fell asleep on you. Sorry about that call last night. Accountable. We can be accountable to one another. So I can step up and say, hey, this is where I'm struggling. That's a little different than this is something I'm struggling with in the present moment. Like, like, hey, I'm trying to launch something. I'm about 5,000 away. Y'all hold me to it. I got enough time that I can do it and make it. That's me just being like, to come to the circle. Men, I think, are good at holding each other accountable. Like, bro, you got to step up, man. You ain't been to see your kids. Like, we can do that kind of stuff.
Right.
But like, when I got something going on in my head, like, this is how, I don't know. I don't want to make light of those situations because somebody might be going through that. But I'm just saying, if you got some kind of struggle and I'm trying to share my emotional side or however you want to call it,
right,
that's a little different, man. Like, how is that going to be received? And Kadeem might be a man of action. He might be like, nah, you telling me this and you want me to do what with it? He might not know how to handle just hearing me out, if you will. Anything I say to him, he might be like, all right, so what we just do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm just telling you because I wanted to get out of my head. Like, nah, keep that in your head. When you want to do something, you come back and you talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we might put that person in the awkward position. Like Pastor was saying earlier, I might look at you as if AD failed me. Like, here I go. I finally, tell him something. Man, I caught you off guard. You have sleep. It's late. You ain't see it coming. You ain't know what I was coming for. And I had this big expectation on you, and you failed it, and you didn't even know you did it. You know what I mean? So it's a difficult thing to navigate because we haven't really built that.
Right. See, and honestly, like, can I keep it 100? Like, just starting this conversation, maybe we need to get to a space where we are building this, where we are helping each other stay aligned, because a lot of times you don't hear about stuff till it's getting rough, it's getting bad. What if we can kind of correct ourselves, keep ourselves aligned, because for the most part, what's our thing, Kaneem? Hey, what's up, Kaneem? How you feeling? I'm good. It's like all is well, like I said, unless behind you, man, the side of my house just fell off. Like, it's just, unless it's like big, we don't really discuss it. But I think, like Pastor said it 10,000 times, and I've repeated it. It's biblical. It's the small foxes that spoils the vine, right?
Yeah.
Everything gets there by small things. There's never a great leap into anything, even, we always talk about, now we don't really talk about it like that, but when infidelity happened, you never hear, like, you watch TV or probably people said in real life, it just happened. It just happened. Right. It takes time. It takes a look. It takes a call. It takes a small text. It takes a little more interaction, because then in my head, there's already an attraction there. But now, I'm opening that door more and more. You understand?
But see, to me, all of those things you're talking about, you're describing right now.
Yeah.
That's the outcome.
Right.
You started long before the text.
Right.
The phone.
So I come in the group. I'm like, oh man, this new coworker. Jeez,
Finding in the mud.
Right. And you guys are like, yo, well, stay focused, my dude. Like I got it,
Right.
But most times that comes, I don't say anything until, we've been texting, or I've been calling, or went over there last night. You understand what I'm saying? So I know it's a shift in what we normally do. Because first off, we have the stigmatism of not talking. Now it's like, you want me to share my emergency? No. Now I need you to share your small cracks. Those patterns of things that you like. I don't know if it's going bad, but I just feel like there's something. Because we all know there's something. I feel something,
Well, what's the expectation of response though? Like when I share that with you,
right?
What should I expect back? What position am I putting you in by sharing that?
So if it's small, I'm like, okay, it's been going on for like a week. Like, all right, I may give you a tip. I may give you a bit of advice. I may just need to pray for you. Like I hear you, because sometimes you just need to. You ever just say something out loud and you solve it?
I answer my own question.
That does sound crazy. I think I need to approach it this way. Because sometimes I've said things, and by the time they're telling me, I'm telling myself like that is, they're right. They're right. Some things just need to be said out loud. Some things just need to be exposed. And it's some small cracks. You get an opportunity. All of y'all come together. We put some sealing on that, and I'm moving forward. If that makes sense. And I know, like I said, I know it's different. We're all used to getting where the trouble is like, hey, trouble is down the road now. Like I need some help. And it may be a good distance. So some a little more proactive, but trouble is coming. So I need some help. So I think if we get into the space of alignment, we can help each other before it gets real bad.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And like I said,
practice that, man.
What does it totally look like?
It sounds like a noble idea, but you got to practice that. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I mean, saying it and putting it into action by sharing those small cracks.
Right.
You can say it all day, but if you ain't the torch bearer, it's gonna be real hard for that to even come to fruition.
I got you.
Because we don't want to feel like we're weak.
Right.
We've been so accustomed to not showing weakness, not showing vulnerability.
Right.
And it's one of the challenges that we have as a people. I think it's human nature to want to win, obviously, but you don't win without taking hits.
Yep.
Right.
But we don't talk about the hits. We talk about the championship belt.
Yeah.
We don't talk about what happened in the gym when your sparring partner really knocked you out cold, and they actually should have been in the championship fight. We don't talk about that stuff because it looks like you're weak, like you don't deserve what you have, you don't belong, whatever the case might be. And even when it comes to our emotional mindset, with our relationships, with our desire to build businesses, with the challenges with raising families and all of that stuff, nobody wants to appear as though they don't have it under control. And to say, my son has a D- in math. You're afraid that someone's going to say, "Well, aren't you working with him?"
You gonna sit there and let him get a D-?
What kind of parent are you?
Yeah.
But
D- that may as well be an F.
I think a lot of times our circles are like, we got too much in one circle, and you'll probably disagree with this. So let me acknowledge this first. Yes, this circle could be all in all. It could be friend, it could be business, it could be counselor, it can be all in all.
Right.
But sometimes that all in all does block it. Block me from wanting to do it. So Me and AD about to do our first $1 million deal, and it's the first one we wanted to go off right without a hitch, right?
Right.
I need him to have confidence in me. I want him to have confidence in him, right?
I see where you're going.
But me and AD friends too. We kick it. You know, man, Tan about to put me out, bro. I mean, I slept on the sofa the last 2 nights. I got a bad pack. I don't know,
Right.
I guess I'm just gonna have to go get another spot. Now that sounds like money problems. Now I don't sound like the safe bet. That sounds like a shaky home.
I got you.
Argument gonna lead him to be late for the meeting. You feel what I'm saying? So I acknowledge that we can be all in all, but sometimes some of our circles are too mixed.
Right.
You know, what happened when you date your homeboy sister? Man, she be tripping, but wait a minute, it's my sister, not my boy. You know, like so. You know, it's a little. Well, I can't think of that word. It's like all polluted or whatever you call it, right?
Right.
So like sometimes the separation is good. Sometimes there's strength in numbers, but like some of our circles run together a lot. So it's hard to, kick it at the pool hall and get drunk and then handle business the next day and you still remain and have the same confidence because you've seen me in so many different levels.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, can I still get your vote for alderman after you see how I party at night? You know what I'm saying? What was it, Jeff?
Convoluted.
See, I can't. Yeah, thank you. I need one of them people in my ear.
Like we just talking about, right?
Yeah, you feel me? So I can say a lot of words I definitely can't spell, but it's just you got all this stuff, and it's convoluted and it's messing us up, and it's not messing us up, but I'm saying it's a potential blocker, right? So it's a good thing, but it also could potentially block us. Like, man, I want to go tell Kaneem this. Oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to go get this from him too. So let me leave that alone, so that he don't think I'm shaky on that, or he don't think you know what I mean?
100%. And I agree. I think that's probably the struggle with the crack discussions. Thomas said we also have where certain men, leaders, are supposed to be strong. So when they share their situations, others think they are strong enough to overcome it. Right. Because and then there's that perception that we have of each other, and I'm with you. So if there was a situation getting into the, I guess, lack of way of putting it, you guys, we're gonna find a way. The crack mindset. if Ephraim shared that, and we going into business, and like he late for a meeting because of the situation with his wife or whatever, she's holding him up and they're arguing. My thing was like, okay, well, what you need to do is avoid discussion before you come out for these meetings. This is not the time to have the talk. Let's strategize. Let's try to find a way to get you out of the house so you don't have to get into the fight. And then let's talk about when you get home, what you need to do to try to let's figure something out. But having those conversations though, and not like bashing you, because let me go back up because I want to make sure I get some of these. Because Jeff said, I've shared things before and gotten reamed for it.
And they thought
it's funny. He said reamed for it. And when I first saw that, I didn't have my glasses on and I thought it said renamed for it.
You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing.
Earpiece.
But you still get, but here's my point. Yeah. You can be renamed.
Right.
For sharing.
Right.
Because you can go from being considered strong to be considered weak.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
They can reclassify you, and those are some of the fears that we're talking about.
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It said may need to hear possible future outcomes so we can hear possible results of our actions. Indeed. Hear heartaches before it becomes reality. Right. Yeah. And I think that's the part, because a lot of things are deep down before they become a reality.
Count up the cost.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need someone else to do the math.
Yeah, right. But sometimes that only is like a hindsight thing, right? It looks beneficial after the fact. Like I sure could have talked that out, but like it gets out. Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
Before you hold that thought 1 second, I don't mean to cut you off because I thought I saw something from Cotton up there that we missed as well. AD,
I put that one. He said, sometimes when small stuff is shared, no one listens because it seems so small, so we don't share. Indeed. Yeah,
man.
Go ahead, Kaneem. Ephraim.
Yeah, one person's pebble is another person's boulder.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like you don't, the expectation is not clear. What do you do with that? See, because I'm the one taking all the risks. I got the crazy, undeveloped thought that I've been keeping
Yeah.
to myself. And we even have a saying that say you should have kept that to yourself. You know, like
That's the problem.
that's the but
That's the
I'm the
problem.
one with it that I'm taking all the risks and then
Right.
I'm throwing it on you. Hey,
Right.
this deep thing that I haven't shared with anybody that I ain't even sure what's going on with it. Here this is on you on this nice Friday afternoon when you didn't see it coming. Like so, expectations have to be clear. What does this look like? You know, how do I need you to be? You know what I mean? If it's one of those moments where you just need me to be encouraging, like but I'm going to tell you something crazy. You know what I mean? And all I need you to do is just listen. Don't respond. I just want to get this out my head, but it's about to sound crazy. You
Right.
know, all right, but set the expectation because
Right.
a lot of these conversations we haven't had these before, man. You know,
Right.
I've heard my friends talk about some of my other friends, and I told myself, well, I ain't gonna be sharing that with y'all. You know what I'm saying? If y'all did him like that, like you feel me, like so.
I've been there.
I ain't doing it, man. Like y'all put that boy through just now. So no, because
Right.
mine is worse than his. You feel me? Like our mind is close to it. Like, and then as we get older, we look back and realize that they were struggling with stuff and they had stuff too, and they just kind of, you attack stuff. You know how it is,
Yeah.
But the perception was that we all got it together, and anybody who got a problem, you this weird unicorn from the hood. So
Right. Right. Sam says, how about using the info to help and cover instead of weaponizing? And I think that's the main thing of, kind of like shifting our mindset a little bit, knowing that each one of us goes through something,
Yeah.
and like I said, it always starts mental. It always starts small. And if we can't self-talk ourselves out of it or self-align ourselves, we eventually get way out of line, and then we go down this path and it affects everything. And as fathers and husbands here, what we feel affects the whole household, and it's a spillover. It spills over into everything. But if you can have that self-alignment talk with others, like, man, I'm feeling this way, we're going to pray for you. You got it. You good, and try to either say something encouraging or like, man, I even to a space where I hear what you're saying. I've never been there. But I'm not discounting how you feel. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I think it's being sensitive to that stuff.
But I think you have to know the personality of the of the individual that you're crying out to, because I call these it's an outcry when you need help, and even saying that, some men will be like, I ain't crying for nobody.
I only like the words you're using right now.
Yeah, I only
like that word. Right.
But like, because with me, I've had people come to me and say things and apologize, repent, whatever the case might be, and I'm like, it's easy for me to forgive you, right? And what I do is I play. I'm like, okay, so you're still a knucklehead,
right?
But we're gonna work through this,
yeah.
I try to lighten the mood so it doesn't seem so heavy, right? So that people can relax and actually have the conversation,
right?
Because working through it, like I don't need every single emotion to be expressed while I'm working through it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to just handle this business and work through this thing, and I don't like for people to have to continue to relive the moment, relive the emotion. That can be dangerous.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, you have to live a life where you pull Jesus up out of the grave. We spend a whole lot of time talking about the crucifixion, but he got up.
Right.
So you got to get people up on the other side of the conversation. And that's why I try to make light of things, but not diminishing the emotion that they're feeling, the trauma that they have experienced. But I hesitate to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I want to go all the way back to something Kaneem said earlier, because he was like, when we're talking about sharing and opening up to people and the cracks that you talked about, he said, like, nobody's sharing no cracks with me. You remember you said that a few minutes ago, Kaneem?
Yeah.
And that's a bigger issue than we think. Because you've never shared anything with me, how can I feel comfortable sharing something with you?
Right.
So who gets it first?
Right. Who opens it up? Who puts it
Right.
out there? Right. That's true.
And and we think about, and that's where you really I've learned in life, again, we talk about the 3 C's. If I see Ephraim as a confidant, if I feel like I have dubbed him a person that I can share my innermost feelings with, something that I probably don't share with anybody except God and my family, my wife, right? But I've given some information to him.
Right.
Unfortunately, he doesn't see me the same way.
Right. True.
He's my confidant, but I'm not his.
Right.
So he doesn't treat the information as sensitively as I would.
Right.
And he could be having a conversation with somebody else. Yeah, man, me and B was just talking about this. And wait, I didn't tell you could share that, bro.
Right.
Right.
Well, come on, man. It was just.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah.
Between us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And now you got to explain why you didn't want that explained to AD.
Well, you should have told me that, bro.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we do?
Crack I can hear about. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I mean, I what Brian just said was spot on. But you really do need to tell me I can't tell nobody. I'm just gonna be real with
That's
you.
the expectation. That's what I'm
just
saying.
gonna be real with you.
They
Like,
need to share that.
Okay.
I'm just like, hey, bro.
Yeah.
Just between me and you. When you make that statement,
Yeah.
between me and you,
Yeah.
that's where it's gonna stay.
That's
I ain't
fair.
gonna tell my wife. I ain't gonna tell my kids.
Right.
I ain't
Right.
gonna tell. You said it's between me and you.
Right. Right.
Put all the
conversation
expectation
ain't
out
never
there.
happened. You know what I'm saying? Unless we get to talking about it together again,
Yeah.
the conversation never did happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you said it's between me and you.
Right.
So
You're right.
You got let me
Look,
know.
as
But if you
right
don't
as
get
you
the
are,
disclaimer,
as right as you are, you know how many times folks mess that up, right?
I'm just saying. But that's how I value.
That's how you do it. You gotta
I
put
can't say
that
how
seal on
somebody else value it.
But you know, that's what
how
I'm saying.
Because if I tell you something and I say it's between me and you,
Right.
and your lips get loose somewhere down the road,
Right.
then I know that I can't tell you nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going forward. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's little stuff, I know I can't tell you nothing
Right.
going forward. But if you tell it to me,
Right.
and I let it slip somewhere and it get back to you,
You didn't hear that from me, right?
I feel bad myself.
Right.
But you know, like even what Pastor said, like
So,
to see those two, right? I know those two, they've had several conversations, and I know without a shadow of doubt that if they wanted something to stay between them two, they could, right? But even that was just a perfect example. Pastor thought that was a given. Kaneem was like, make sure it's known. And that's what I'm saying.
good.
Like
That's
the
good.
expectation has to be out there because we don't have a whole bunch of, and I don't know if females do this better than men. Sam was talking about weaponizing. I know females be extra with theirs, but like when we males don't have a lot of practice with this whole sharing the cracks type stuff. You got dudes who sell drugs together and commit crimes and murder and know all kind of secrets that get you locked up for life, but won't let you know that they mama hurt their feelings when they were 5. You know what I'm saying? You would think because of what we do here that the table is open. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the case. And the biggest part is expectation. As we try this thing, try sharing this stuff. And you know what I'm saying? You got to set expectation. Like, listen, this is what I was thinking.
Sam said females aren't any better.
Yeah, I ain't want to call them out. Stan said, don't talk about females on the man show. But I just was wondering. Yeah,
He said, they
don't be hitting them.
Dr. Ron said, I judge it based
Yeah,
on how they
I agree with that.
talk about someone else. If they'll say certain things about others,
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ain't
I
dog,
weigh that very heavily.
Yeah.
I think that very heavily because if you'll come and talk to me about somebody like a dog, you know what I'm saying, just cut their whole soul just to pieces,
Yeah.
Then I know what you said. I ain't gonna say I know. I got a feeling
Feeling.
about what you're saying about me because I know my mouth could be reckless sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I know
if you say that,
I know if you really talking about me.
Yeah, and you could talk. And
I
see,
think-
we
I
could
think
talk
from a
about one
character.
another, but like it is a way to, you know what I'm saying. If I talk about Pastor, even when he's not there, I still gotta keep it respectful now. Like
Right.
you know, he's a friend. You know, so I
Right.
can't just be loose with it. Yeah.
Well, but I think that again, that's character. That's integrity. You know,
Yeah.
I work really hard. I haven't perfected it, but I work really, really hard to be able to repeat whatever it is I've said.
Right.
That's a good principle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I stand on what I say. There's no doubt.
Oh, I
about
know
that.
you do. I've learned enough about you that there's nothing you have ever said to me that you cannot repeat.
Right.
That's
I know that.
but there's a slight difference. Like there's some things I might. Okay, let's say we talking about AD. There's some things that when I'm talking to you, I might not I'll stand on what I said. But if I was talking with AD, I might do it with more of a filter because I ain't trying to crush it, bro. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like the meaning of what I said, my brother just did that with my sister recently. I meant what I said about her, but I wouldn't have been reckless or just came in the way you came in with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's I just want to put that distinction. Like, no, you got to stand on what you meant.
Right.
But like, you know, I ain't trying to tell bro down. Listen, bro, you know, you got to stop all this smoking weed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, the past I might be like that. This weed head over here, this boy. Every time I turn around, you know, it'll be more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Colorful, I guess.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
You'd be like, man, why you saying like that? Man, you know you're a weed head.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
But I do think we get caught up in that stuff, and I think the reality is we as a people we have become more sensitive. It's amazing how much more desensitized we are to hurting people's feelings, but how much more sensitive we are to our own feelings.
That's good.
Right?
Right.
We are so quick to get somebody else told, but no one can tell us anything.
Right.
That's real.
Yeah.
You know, and social media has taken that and multiplied it like by infinity.
Right.
Right. Because there's so many battles that take place on social media that would never happen.
Yeah.
Face to face.
Got a question for y'all, man. Saw that this morning when you talk about social media. Daddy caught his son on social media being all hyped up with guns in the video, and you know, he's just all wild and in the video with a bunch of guns and stuff. So the dad saw the video. Somebody showed the video to the dad. The daddy got his son sitting on the couch right next to him. So the dad is making this big old statement about why his son was doing stupid. Then he said reached over there and slapped the mess out of his son right there on camera, right? Wow. And told his son, like, now you want to be hard. Now what you gonna do? I just slapped you.
Wow. I gotta see the video.
My whole thing about that was, I'm like, don't get me wrong. If my son got out of line and he bucked his chest up at me, that's something different.
Right.
Then I might slap you, I might punch you, I might do whatever, because you put yourself in a man's place.
Right.
Yeah, you putting yourself in a man's place going up against your parent.
Right.
Yeah.
But this wasn't that situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I would embarrass or do my child like that on camera. You know what I'm saying? Because technically he's still a minor, and you did slap the taste out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And the son didn't do nothing now. No, don't get me wrong. The son didn't say not one word, but you could tell it wasn't a play slap.
Right.
It was like, I felt this and I feel some type of way, but I know this still my daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
That's a tough one.
My question is, would you embarrass your child in the public? Because that's the public. Whether it be a video or it be at the grocery store, it's still the public. But the only thing about this is that it could be repeated forever.
Yeah.
Rewind and slow mode and whatever.
That might be the lesson he was trying to teach him too, though. Okay, I'm saying old school train of thought says, you know, where you pinch a tit, there's the surface, right? So you cut up in the grocery store, you get whooped in the grocery store. So I'm not mad at him going on Facebook with it or wherever it was with it, But yeah, after you made your point, it seems I haven't seen the video. It seems like he took it one step too far.
Yeah.
Now it's an extreme, and
Yeah.
now, like you said, instead of just getting something straight, he's made him be embarrassed forever. You know, he could have got some straightening. It's gonna be replayed if it's on the internet, but the slap is where the embarrassment comes. But maybe he felt it took that much, because playing with these guns and
Yeah.
any of you young boys listening now, y'all can get caught and talking all this gang stuff. Y'all can get caught up in some real stuff. The
Right.
FBI, state attorney's office, everybody watching these videos that y'all
Oh,
putting
yeah.
out, and you're getting a lot of people making their case based off rap lyrics and videos that are being posted. Y'all making their job extra easy nowadays. So it was an urgent matter. You playing with guns, talking tough. He
Yeah.
could have been saving his son's life, but his son got to live after this too. So like, you don't want to be the boy that got slapped by his daddy on the internet, because they be playing that at school. So he gonna have to fight for the rest of the year. I already know that. You know, I slap you like your daddy did. That's gonna be, he done put him in a situation. You might as well homeschool that young man, because he gonna have to fight at this point.
See, AD, that's the light felony.
Right. The light felony.
Yeah,
Right.
hey, he slapped the mess out of him. I must say.
Like slap
Like-
him. Like grown.
But
I-
for me, I would have had more questions. You know, like whose guns are they, and what
Right.
in the world are you doing? Because if
Oh,
and
they
9
was his
times out of
dad's
10, it's
guns.
probably
They
the
was his
father's
guns.
guns.
They were his guns. Okay. They were the
They were
dad's
his
guns.
guns.
Okay.
They was
Young
the
man's
dad's
guns?
guns.
The
Yeah.
dad guns. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Dad's
See,
guns.
He
Right.
told him about flexing.
that's where we would have had a real heart to heart.
Yeah.
Both of our feelings would have been hurt, you know, but that would have been private.
Right.
I believe that
You
the
don't him
public.
putting it out there don't bother you?
Well, that's what I mean. Like I would have had to deal with that privately, because it would have been more it's a learning moment. It's educational, right? You did something really, really unwise by putting all this out there, and it's not even your stuff you're putting out there. It's mine.
Right. Right.
Could it be seen as him saving his life though? Because all the people watching on the video now know that he's really not about that life, and he wouldn't
Yeah,
know that. If it
but
was
still,
fake.
but to me, it doesn't matter what all those other people. What I need to do is get him thinking differently.
Right.
No,
Right.
but I'm saying, if you talk, okay, let me ask you this: do you think that his violent portrayal will attract violence?
Mm.
Of course.
That's definitely possible, but that's why I have to teach him.
Right.
See, if I respond like what Kaneem is describing as what was in that video,
Right.
I may have scarred him.
Oh, he scored.
Yeah.
Right.
Or saved them.
Yeah, I'm saying that's a possibility. But what I'm saying is the way that my mind works, I'm going to. I want to educate you on what I just saw, because again, a lot of people can hear themselves talking, but they don't know how they sound. A lot of people can watch themselves doing stuff, but don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
You know you're doing it, but you don't know what it looks like from the outside looking in. So let me make sure you understand what this really looks like.
It sounds extreme.
I hope y'all see that. I hope y'all see that video, because you could just see the light go out that boy's eyes. Like
See,
the light just dimmed when he slapped him. You know what I'm saying? Like
you
How
probably
old
thought
the
his
boy is?
father would have been proud of him.
he probably was about 16, about between. He was a teenager. Let me say that.
Yeah, it sounds extreme, but
He
like,
was a teenager.
I mean, the way things are. I mean, what does a mother do? She catch her daughter in the booty shaking and all this or whatever.
But
You know, it's. I'm not saying it does. I'm admitting it sounds extreme, but I'm saying
There's a difference
education.
between good discipline
Yeah, for sure.
and emasculation.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm with Brian on that one. My whole thing is it probably still would have went down like that, honestly, but it wouldn't have went down on video.
Right.
You know what
Well,
I'm
that's
saying?
my point. The video. That's it.
It wouldn't have went down on video, because one thing, I'm already tripping that you didn't win somewhere. You didn't already basically stole my guns.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you professional. What you was gonna do with them? Now you got all these folks with these school shootings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How I know where your head at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go out here and commit a crime with my guns, Now they got me behind ball because I didn't whoop your behind. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't come forward.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do this. You affected my life, your mama life, your brother, your sister life. You know what I'm saying? Because you thinking it's cool. So I probably would have went down like that, but I wouldn't have put it on camera per se. But then again, you know, I didn't see the boy video. All I saw was the daddy video.
Right.
I would love to see that before I saw the daddy video, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't see the boy video. I just saw the daddy video.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, I think it's Reese, someone put it out there, said about the woman who found her son at the Freddie Gray protest, and, you know, she got all over his.
She was behind. Every time I went upside his head.
Right, and people called her a hero
and everything. Don't hide.
But the point that I'm trying to make is there's a point where it becomes emasculating.
Yeah, it does.
Right, and public ridicule on a young mind can ruin that mind. It can really do some damage, and you don't know it for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I really needed you to do was explain to me how what I was doing was wrong, not to strip me down in front of everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So,
because I think sometimes we as parents, because we're adults, we think the child has a full scope of what they're doing.
Right.
Just like, you know, like a 13-year-old twerking, you know,
we think they don't have the scope. That's
right.
That's
what
saying.
A mom sees a girl trying to like have a sexualized moment, and she's not looking at it like that. She's just twerking. You understand what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't know the full scope of what she's doing. You know, she's
mimicking behavior.
Yeah, and she's emulating. Like my man, he's just seeing things, but he doesn't know the full scope of what he's getting into. And I think for me, like I'm with Kaneem, I wouldn't have done it on camera, but he's been doing apologizing to the world after I handled, you know, like they wouldn't. I ain't gonna front. Like we would, like I said, Pat, we'd had conversation. I talked about it, but then you know he's gonna talk to the world and apologize for disrespecting, you know, his household, my dad, my mom, grandma, granddad, everybody, cousin. He's gonna be naming names. You know, he's gonna be on there for about 30 minutes.
Picture this for a second.
All right.
Yo, man, I saw you with those girls, man. You was getting on, bro, man. You look like y'all packing over there at your house, man. Yo, man, my pops, whoo, he wasn't having it at all, man. My pops did. Y'all ain't gonna see me do that again.
Right.
That's really?
Right. I'm saying,
would he have done it without the video? There's no how would history judge this moment? The boy never posts another crazy video, and shows that the father was right, or the boy grows up hating his father and shows that the father was wrong.
But see, that's the mindset that adults have to have. I have to make sure that whatever my actions are today are beneficial in 5 years.
Try to, because we don't.
That's right. That's the part that we forget. We're so in the moment. We're so angry. And half the time we're angry about stuff that has nothing to do with what happened. And then this person gets to feel all that. Think about the Chris Rock slap.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good example.
Right. A lot. I know there's some discipline I got when I was young because my mother was mad about something that happened at work.
Right.
Oh yeah. Big time.
It had a little extra energy behind it.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm with the punishment. Fist of crime. He said he was a high posting on video. Yeah. Then he got checked on video. Yeah. Like I said, like you said, Kaneem, you saw you know.
I got to see it.
His light was out. You know,
no. His light went out. Like you could tell he was a kid.
And it can change a
and
relationship.
Then all of a sudden, it was like depression just set in on like.
Right.
I'm telling you, without seeing it right now, it sounds extreme. It sounds like the father went too far.
Right.
And it sounds like I would have handled it another way, no doubt. I'm saying when you see people getting locked up, major cases, all these, I don't understand. We had cities, we had hoods, but we didn't. You might rep a street or two, but we didn't do a whole bunch of the gang culture stuff. It was just like, you know, even the quote unquote gang we had, you were just from the city, right? This gang culture is something different. Like they passing out all types of felonies and stuff, and you can get caught up in that. Maybe the father saw it and felt this is an extreme. And because we don't know how the boy is. What if the boy was this all-American student and then his father sees this like, wait a minute, my son? Look,
Right.
look, E over there doing what?
Right.
Guns? Oh,
Right.
this is crazy. And it might have thrown him for a complete shock.
Right.
Or his father might be like, I'm tired of this. This is the 37th time I've seen him do this. I heard about this, and I gotta do some extreme.
Or, wow,
Yeah.
he saw me doing it.
Could be.
They are my guns. He must have saw me showing off to my friends,
Ooh,
Could
that
be.
thinking he doing the same thing I'm doing. I got to check myself so that I can be a better example for my son. There are a lot of ways that could have played out.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of unknowns.
There are a lot of things that could have triggered that young man's behavior.
Yeah.
It could have been him mimicking behavior.
Right.
We don't know all of that, and that's why it's better that you resolve that stuff in your house.
Right.
Privately, without the video.
Yeah.
Without the video.
Now I wonder how many
one
videos
thing
they
about
got.
it is that now that the video out there, folks gonna be all up in it because they saw it, and they're gonna be, some people gonna be for like, how we doing? Some say the daddy should have gave him the punishment fits the crime. Some be like, you didn't scar this boy for life. He may go down a pathway of crime. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you got all these strangers weighing in on your life behind this video,
Right.
that's just gonna continuously perpetuate negative energy for that whole family for a long time.
Yeah.
Bro, you send me the video, bro. I got to see it now.
So Jeff said, he said, I'm 67 years old and I still remember a slap in my face at 7 from my dad. He said, it didn't have to do
I got one at 15 from my mom.
Right. You remember those moments.
I got one at 10 from my mama. She slapped me right in my lips. Like it wasn't on the side of my face. It was
You
like
saying something. You said something.
Top and bottom.
Look, you ever got slapped so hard? You ever got slapped so hard to make you look? You ever got slapped so hard to make you look around the corner? Pow!
Yeah. So yeah, I done definitely got slapped in my mouth. Like in my mouth, not on my face.
Yeah. And you know what? It was a balance to a lot of that too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you looking back, it's some extreme. You hear about extension cords and limbs and stuff.
I got
Black
that
folk, we
too.
extreme like that, but like,
yeah.
it's a balance. You know, it was a balanced meal we were getting.
But let me say this: it worked. It worked.
Time will
worked
tell.
for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it worked. You know,
Bro,
I know
you saying it
extreme.
worked, and you saying you'll make adjustments. You probably make adjustments to what your mama did too, though.
Right.
So like, we take it. There's some principles, there's some stuff from it, but like, you know, like looking back, you went a little too far. You know,
Yeah, she did. But they all went too far.
They all of them, man.
But I'll say this: I haven't done those extremes with my kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not all of them. My oldest daughter, I did go through some same with her.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I mean, I learned to actually communicate and have conversations and let them speak what they feeling instead of me just shutting them down without hearing what they have to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once I hear what you have to say,
I mean, you ain't gonna get it, but you.
I want you to be able to talk.
I'm glad you explained that. That was foolishness. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because if you don't,
do you all remember? Do you remember there was a movie starring Giovanni Ribisi? It was a movie. The movie was called Boiler Room. It's always compared to Glengarry Glen Ross. Y'all remember that movie?
Yeah.
And remember the story about the main character. You know, he had an estranged relationship with his father.
Yeah.
The judge.
His father was a judge.
Yeah.
Right. And Giovanni Ribisi's character was a smart young man, but he dropped out of college, opened up a casino.
Doing well.
The movie was based on him and his hustle, but the drama of the movie was the relationship, the estranged relationship with him and his father.
Yep.
Right.
His father was proud of his son, but he was disappointed at the same time that his son wasn't doing more with his life.
Yep.
And so at the end of the movie, you have this Oscar moment with the father and the son, because the son gets in trouble. Yep. The father's like, you know, the attitude of the father all through the movie is, you're going to go to jail and there's nothing I'm going to do to support you.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the father remains his dad and puts his own judgeship on the line, trying to help his son get out of trouble.
Yep.
Right. And in the midst of all of that, they have this moment where the boy remembers when the man, Giovanni's character remembers when he was a little boy, he fell off his bike, broke his arm.
Yes.
And his father slapped him in the face.
slapped him.
Yeah.
Falling off the bike.
Like,
Right.
he lived his entire life trying to understand, why did you slap me?
Yes. Yes.
And the father was mad that he was out there in the street on the bike
right.
and hurt himself. Like, I told you it's going to get hurt. That's what you don't need to be out there, whatever. And I know that because I have felt it. I'm guilty of that.
Right. Yep.
And the son says to the father, I needed you to grab me.
Right.
And tell me it was going to be all right. My arm was broken.
Right.
And it never dawned on the father that he only slapped his son because his son did something that his father couldn't immediately fix.
Right.
Frustration.
Yeah. It was beyond his control. The father couldn't fix the boy's arm.
Right.
So out of frustration with himself, he slapped his son. And sometimes we discipline our children, we discipline others because we're really mad at ourselves.
There we go.
Yep.
Right there. Right there.
I gotta see this video. I want to see the son's video, the daddy video. Yeah.
You got some research to do. You got research to do, brother. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We're way over time. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for rocking with us. Listen, another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Hopefully you got something out of it. If anything, breathe before you discipline. Breathe, conversate.
Cut the cameras off.
Honest. Like, discipline is about correction, but it's not about abuse. You understand what I'm saying? We're about correction. So love you guys being here. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Let's see. Hold on. Last thing he said, the thing that bothered me was I repeated that with my son and immediately knew it was right. Yeah. Good job, Jeff. Good job. High five.
That's good.
High five, Jeff. All right. So we appreciate you. We're learning. We're growing here, guys. We're growing. Promise you.
How to break the cycle.
Right.
On the next episode of Brothers of Legacy.
Right. Right here.
How does Jeff's son not do it to Jeff's grandson?
Right. There you go. All right. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel. You know, it's Wednesday, Mental Health Wednesday. We're going to have our resident therapist, Mr. Matt Genius, come through. Actually, we're going to dig deeper into this conversation. So we look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with us, supporting us. And, as always, go to www.brotherslegacy.com, go to Beyond Donation, or you can Cash App us at $BOL 2019 as we continue to grow and do great works. All right. I think all hearts and minds are clear. All right. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Oh, 3 things. 1, make sure you go vote if you're in the state of Georgia and North Carolina and everywhere there's early voting. Check your ballots also early. 2, make sure you dial 988 if you're having a mental health crisis, you or someone you love. And 3, drive safe out there in these streets. All right. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you more. And that's it. That's all. We out. Peace out.